If you're in the market for a router, you're not going to want to miss this video, as it can be very confusing as to which router you should get. Should you get a corded, cordless, fixed base, plunge, or even a palm router? Well, those are some of the questions that I intend on answering as we take a deep dive into my 3 DeWalt routers. So there's no better time to stock up on new tools in the holiday season, and just like you, that's exactly what I did. And the deals were so great this holiday season that I picked up 2 new routers and some batteries to go along with them. So I thought this was a great time to take a look at 3 different types of DeWalt routers and see the differences between each one. So let's dive right in and take a look at our first router, which is an item that I've had for several years. First up today, we have the 1¼ horsepower corded DeWalt palm router. All this talk about routers reminds me, my internet's been down all week. Luckily, I was able to connect to my neighbors, which is called Martin Router King. I have a stream. Today I have a stream. So unlike many of the tools we take a look at on this channel, this is not a new tool. In fact, I probably had this thing for well over 5 years. And I can honestly say there's no other router I have more hours behind, even more than my high-end Festool. And that primarily has to do with 2 reasons, convenience and power. But let's start to dive into this router and talk about why I think it's so great. First off, let's talk about the size of this palm router. Now, when the collet is lowered all the way to your surface, it's only about 8 inches tall, which is a great size for storage, and in fact, I keep this thing upright in one of my cabinets. Let's start to take a tour of this router and talk about how this thing actually works. Now, this router comes with 2 pieces, the router itself along with an adjustable base plate. And the way these 2 pieces work together is really the heart and soul of this router. Let's open up the latch on the base plate and slide that router in. Once you have these 2 pieces together, you can lock them into place by simply depressing them and locking the adjustment collar onto the router base. Then you can even further secure these 2 pieces together by closing the latch that's on the very front of the router. Now that we have these 2 pieces locked together, let's start to talk about some of the features of this router by starting off taking a look at the base plate. If we take a look at this base plate, you can see it's got 2 profiles, both a round profile as well as a flat one, with the round side having a distance of about 2 inches from the collet center and the flat side having a distance of just under 3 inches. And you'll notice there's a little notch on both sides of the base plate for alignment purposes. Let's talk about how we adjust that router base plate up and down to get the height that we want. To do this, let's first get a router bit into this router. To make our lives a little bit easier, we first want to remove that base plate. To do this, we first want to undo the latch on the very front. Once that latch has been opened up, we can depress the 2 tabs on the side of the adjustment collar and you'll see the router slides right out of place. With the router removed, we can now take a look at the collet. Now, this collet will only accept 1/4-inch router bits. The nice thing about these collets with these DeWalt palm routers is they're 8-slotted collets, which just means there's more surface area and contact with your router bit. But let's insert our 1/4-inch shank router bit into the collet and hand tighten it down. With our router bit now hand tightened in place, we can now take a look at the base of the router where you'll find a yellow button. This button is the collet lock. By depressing this button, you can take your wrench and tighten your collet all the way down. And with our router bit now installed, we can slide it back into the base plate and lock it down. Now that we have the router installed, let's once again talk about how we adjust the base plate. One of the first things you want to do is to make sure the latch on the front is completely unlocked. With it unlocked, we can now go back to the collar of the tool. By simply rotating that collar, you can see you can move the router bit up or down depending on your needs. Then once you've determined the depth that you want, you simply lock it back into place with that latch on the front. Now, this is one way you can do it, but there's also another way that I think is a great way to step up the depth of your router bit. The first thing that I like to do is to set my base plate right on top of my workspace, and then I like to lower the bit until it touches the very top of my workspace. With our router bit now kissing the very top of our workspace, we can now look to the collar, and here you'll find a small pointer. This pointer points to a secondary yellow collar which rotates independently from the router collar. All we need to do is to rotate that yellow collar until that pointer reads right at 0. This sets our 0 point, or where our router base plate touches the very top of our surface. Then if we want to rotate our router bit down, say a 1/16 of an inch, all we need to do is to rotate that black collar until the pointer points at a 1/16 of an inch. And just like that, we've made a micro adjustment to our router bit without using any measurements at all. Now that we completely understand how to adjust the router bit with this tool, let's start to talk about how this thing actually works. As we mentioned in the beginning of the video, this router's got a peak 1.25 horsepower motor, which just means it can cut through almost any material. And since the router is corded and has a 7-amp motor, this thing can cut through some of your toughest hardwoods. If we look at the top of the router, you'll find the on and off switch, and this is covered with a protective seal to keep the sawdust out. And this is a variable speed tool. If we look right above that on and off switch, you're going to find the speed adjustment. And the speed adjustment adjustment goes from 1 to 6, with 1 being the slowest, and as we twist the knob, you can hear that speed ratchet up as we twist it. Another nice feature of this corded palm router is it does have 2 LED lights on the very bottom to light your way as you go to make your cuts. So a pretty nice improvement on an already impeccable tool, but we've got more routers to take a look at. Let's move on to our next one. Next up, we have the cordless version of this compact router. Let's give it a quick look. Oh man, that reminds me. I got arrested last week for strangling one of those mime artists. Yep, did it with a cordless phone. So over the holiday season, I looked at all the Black Friday deals, and this was one of the best. And this is a router I've wanted for quite some time, since I've been so pleased with the last router we just took a look at. The problem was I didn't want to have to buy new batteries for this tool, but this deal allowed me to buy the batteries and get the tool for free. So let's get this router out of the box and see how it compares to that corded version. So my first impression of this corded router is it looks very similar to that corded version, with the same height of about 8 inches. But as you probably guessed from looking at the top of that router, we're going to have to add a battery, which is just going to increase its stature. And the battery pack and charger, which I purchased to get this item for free, came with a 2 amp hour as well as a 5 amp hour battery. And with the 2 amp hour battery installed, you're looking at a height of about 9 inches tall, and with that 5 amp hour battery installed, you're looking at a height of about 10 inches. And with both routers in my hand, the balance of each router feels about the same. But other than one of these routers being cordless and the other being cordless, what are some of the similarities and differences between these two routers? One of the first things I notice is that the cylinder that the router slides into is a little bit fatter and has a rubber coating to give you a better grip. Along with that, you're also going to notice a new placement of the on and off switch. Instead of having it on the very front of the tool, it's actually on the side, which is a little bit more comfortable to turn on and off with your thumb. Since we're talking about turning this router on and off, they've also added another great feature, and that's a brake to this router. If we turn the corded version of this router off, you can see that it rotates for a considerably longer amount of time than the cordless version. In fact, that cordless version almost has an instantaneous stop. Now, the corded versions may now have that brake, but mine just doesn't have one. Now, both of these routers are variable speed, and the corded version goes from 1 to 6, with 6 being the highest, but the cordless version took a tip from Spinal Tap and it actually goes to 7.
The numbers all go to 11.
And just like before, you can hear that change in speed as we go to twist the knob. And that about covers all of the major differences between these two routers, but the routers have a lot of similarities. Let's talk about some of those. First off, the base plates have the exact same dimensions. However, the window for the base plate is on a different side. Instead of the window being on the side of the base plate like you get with the corded version, the window is now facing the flat edge, which I think is a great idea because it allows the user of the router to see what's going on with your cut. However, you can adjust this base plate to put the window wherever you want. To adjust the depth of the router bit, it works in the same fashion with both routers. Once again, simply loosen that latch and rotate the black collar on the top to adjust the height. And the cordless version even has that same yellow collar for micro adjustments so that you don't have to do any measurements when you go to adjust the depth of your router bit. And not only does this cordless version have that same 8-slotted collet to give you a better grip, but it also has the locking knob for the collet so that you can easily exchange your router bits. And just like before, we have the 2 LED lights on the very base to light your way as you go to make your cut. And all these features are great, but let's talk about the elephant in the room with a cordless router, and that is power and runtime. Now, the horsepower of this brushless motor is advertised to be the same at 1.25 at its peak performance. And although a little bit harder to get a feel for, I can't tell any difference between this cordless router and the corded one. It can easily slice through plywood and some of my hardest hardwoods in my shop, which is my hickory. But what I can test is the battery life on a fully charged 5 amp hour battery when cutting through a bunch of hickory. So I'll simply grab my fully charged 5 amp hour battery, slide it right into the tool, and begin to make some cuts on some hickory. As you can see, I'm just hogging out as much material as I can with this router, which is definitely putting out a lot more strain on this router than you typically do with something like a roundover. But in doing all these cuts, I'm noticing there's just as much power with this cordless router as there is with my corded router. But there did finally come to an end with this battery. And I did notice that the power of this router didn't seem to decrease until about the last 5 to 10 seconds. Well, the final tally was 21 minutes, which is a lot longer than I would typically use a router in one sitting. And if we look at my floors and my tabletop, you can see how much sawdust I created with this router. And frankly, doing this test has put a lot of my apprehensions I had about having a cordless router to bed, which is a good thing because our third and final router is also a cordless router. Let's check it out. Before we do that, however, I ask you to do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video, as it truly does help out this woodworking channel. Also, if you haven't already, check out my website, FlynnDoggWoodwork.com, where you can get access to all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos, and I've just released some new models of shirts. And just like always, if any of these routers interest you, I'll be sure to leave links in the description below so that you can go check them out for yourself. And finally, if you'd like to support the channel even further, check out my channel memberships where you can get early access to all my videos as well as one member video a week. Now let's get back to our next router. This is the DeWalt 20-volt cordless plunge router. Let's give it a look. Speaking of 20, that reminds me. Last week I took my cat to the vet, and after a 20-minute visit, I got the bad news. Turns out it's curiosity. So this is the big dog of DeWalt's cordless routers, running off those same 20-volt batteries. And even though it runs off those same batteries, it has a heck of a lot more horsepower, coming in at 2.25. So let's get this thing out of the box and see how it compares to the palm router we just took a look at. So as you can tell, this thing's quite a bit bigger than that palm router, and that's because it's got a lot more bells and whistles than that palm router has. Let's start off by taking a look at some of the accessories that come with this router. First off, you're going to get a couple of collets with this router, including a 1/4 inch and 1/2 inch collet, and both of these are 8 slotted so you get a better grip on your router bit. Along with those collets, you're also going to get a hefty wrench to secure those collets into the router. You'll also get a couple of base plates, one that comes pre-installed in the router and another one that you can install if you want to use bushings. And both of these base plates have the ability to add another accessory right on the very bottom of the router, and that is a chip collector. This simply slides into the base plate and locks into place with a little click. And when you install the different base plates, you can center it right onto your router with the included 1/2 inch key. Along with those base plates, you're also going to get a couple of dust caps, depending on what size router bit you're using. These simply slide right into the base of the router and snap right into place. And finally, you'll get a dust collection hose adapter, which slides right into the very top of the tool. Now that we've seen all the accessories, let's take a look at some of its features by starting off at the base plate. One of the first things you'll notice is the 3 black knobs right on the very top of the plate. These are so you can install an edge guide, or what many people call a parallel guide. Unfortunately, however, this is sold separately. You'll also notice on one corner of the base there's a multi-position turret stop. This turret stop rotates 360 degrees and can give you 3 different depth settings when used in combination with the height adjustment bar. And you can make micro adjustments with that height adjustment bar. Since it has a spring-loaded screw, you can screw it left or right to give you the height you want. But you can also make larger adjustments as well. By simply flipping the black latch on the very side, you can move that height adjustment bar up and down to suit your needs. And there's even an adjustable scale right above that latch so that you can see how much incremental change you're making with that height adjustment bar. Right next to that depth indicator, you're going to find the dust column, and this is where we added that dust collection chute earlier in this video. Now I will have to say I'm pretty disappointed with this dust collection chute, as you will need a DeWalt dust collector with the DeWalt locking system in order to have dust collection with this router. But there is a cap that you can easily replace that dust collection chute with so that your dust doesn't go everywhere. Let's move on to the front of the router, where we're going to find a little switch that allows you to convert this router from a plunge base router to a fixed base router. And I'll have to say this is a pretty nice little system. With a simple press with your thumb, you can convert this router from a fixed base router to a plunge base router. And just as easily, you can lock it back into place with a simple press on the secondary button with your index finger, which is by far one of the easiest conversion methods that I've seen on any other plunge base router. To take a look at some of the other features, let's look at the very top of the tool, which is where we're going to find the battery port. Let's put a battery right into that port. With the battery installed, we can now take a look at how we start this router, and it has everything to do with the trigger on the right-hand side of the router. To start the router up, you simply press the locking tab and depress the trigger, and the router will continue to run until you release that trigger. However, you can also have a continuous run. If we look at the inside of the trigger handle, you're going to find a small black button. With the trigger pressed and the router running, you can depress this little button and the router will continue to run until you press the trigger again, making those longer, continuous jobs just a little bit easier. Now let's move to the back of the tool on the left-hand side, which is where we're going to find the speed adjustment. This router is once again a variable speed router, going from 1 to 7. At its lowest setting, which is 1, it has 11,000 RPMs, and at its highest setting of 7, it has 23,000 RPMs. If we look right above that variable speed dial, you're going to find a couple of warning indicators. First off, on the left, you're going to find a triangle which will light up in white if there's a heavy load indication. If this white triangle begins flashing, you need to slow down the speed of your tool, which usually occurs when you're using a larger bit that requires a slower speed. The second indicator on the right is the anti-rotation system. This feature senses any unusual motion of the tool and shuts the tool down if necessary. And I'd love to be able to show you both of those features in action, but both of those items are safety features, and I don't want to cause an accident. Moving on to the bottom of the tool, you're once again going to find a couple of LED lights, which will help light your way as you go to make your cuts. The last feature that I'll show you is how to install a router bit into this router, and it has everything to do with this black button on the very front. This is once again a collet lock. By simply sliding your router bit into the collet, you can depress this button to lock the collet and then use your wrench to fully tighten that router bit. And with that router bit installed, this router can effortlessly cut things like 3/4 inch dados into any wood that you may need to cut into. But you're probably asking, what is the power and battery life with this router? Well, I can tell you the power is pretty impressive. In fact, I would compare it to my Bosch router that I have on my router table, which is the corded Bosch router 1602, and it also has 2.25 horsepower. And for battery life, I'm gonna have to take DeWalt's word on it, as they claim it can do up to 256 linear feet of 5/8 inch roundovers on pine. And because of this, I'm just as impressed with this router as their palm router. They just need to work on that dust collection system. Well, I hope you had just as much fun as me on checking out all three of these different types of routers. And if you're in the market for a new router, hopefully this video gave you a better idea of what you're going to get with each of these different types of routers. Well, thank you so much for joining me today. If you haven't already, do me a huge favor, hit that subscribe button, leave a like, leave a comment, and share this video. It truly does help out this woodworking channel. Also, check out my website, FlynnDoggWoodwork.com, where you can get access to all sorts of fun woodworking accessories like all the t-shirts that I wear in my videos, and I've just released some new models of shirts. And if any of these routers we took a look at today interest you, I'll be sure to leave links in the description below so that you can go check them out for yourself. And finally, if you're interested in supporting the channel further, check out my channel memberships where you can get early access to all my videos as well as one member video a week. Until next time, take care as always. All right, let's get it. So what likes to lay in bed for days and lives off of dead beetles? Yoko Ono! Come on, he's dead. How about this one? I had a dream the other day that I was fixing wrecked cars. Turns out it was an auto body experience. Good. All right, last shot. So my girlfriend the other day left me a note on the fridge that said, "It's not working, can't take it anymore. I'm going to my mom's." Confused, I looked at that fridge, opened it up, and the light came on and all my beer was cold. What the heck does she mean?